What if you could live forever?
What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. Are you looking to get away or bring everyone together? Do you want to get outside and play or see a play at the plate? Fortunately, however you operate, I'm the destination you've been looking for. The name's Missouri, but you can call me Mo. And I have just one question. What's your MO? Come see me at visitmo.com.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey, Dale. We're bringing it way back.
Yeah, we are.
This is, okay, before we even say what this is, I mean, if you didn't get it from that quote, you didn't go to school in New York State, because wasn't this required reading for all of us in elementary school?
Yeah, like 6th grade.
5th or 6th grade, right? Yeah.
Maybe it was 5th grade.
And made me think that having a 100-year-old boyfriend was okay. It's not? So when I was 11, it wasn't okay?
Well, good old Winnie, she was 10, if you're going by the book standards.
This is Tuck Everlasting, folks, which is a favorite of mine, favorite of yours. And in the world of Tuck Everlasting, we're drinking everlasting spring water.
Ooh.
And, not real everlasting spring water, because I'm pretty sure this is going to take years off your life.
Yeah.
It's Blanco tequila, some Topo Chico, and some lime juice. You can add a little bit of tahine rim or a little salt on top, but just a nice, easy drinking cocktail that you can drink a lot of so that you think you can live forever.
I love it.
Like our girl Winnie wanted to. Okay, did you rewatch for this?
Yeah, I did. And I was trying to figure out when the book was written, because it feels like it was written forever and a day ago. And it was.
It was.
It was
long
written
ago.
in 1975. Whoa.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was
Really?
that old. None. But it makes so much sense. The way it's written, it makes perfect sense.
So since its original publication, it's been adapted into 2 films, a Broadway musical, sold over 5 million copies, and has been translated into 27 languages.
Incredible.
Tuck Everlasting is I just feel like you don't find somebody who hasn't read it. Maybe millennial status there, but.
Yeah, fair. And I also, for starters, I had no idea there was a musical made about this, which now I am piqued to
On Broadway, too.
into that. Yeah, that's crazy. And I also didn't realize that there were 2 films made. I only know the 2002.
Wait, you didn't have to watch the other one in school?
I don't remember that.
Oh, it's
Maybe
tough.
I was sick that day.
It's a tough watch.
Yeah, but I'm curious, and I'm going to have to go back and find it and watch it, because I'm going to say it right now. Tuck Everlasting, the movie, was like my happy place as a kid. And I was so in love with Jesse.
Jonathan Jackson. Are you kidding me? What a little 90s smoke show.
And he was so sweet and just full of life. And
Obviously.
he just
It's 100.
encompassed everything you would want in a young man.
But okay. And also, we are diehard Gilmore Girls fans, for those of you that don't know.
Yes.
A girl, Alexis Bledel, she played Winnie Foster, which I just also love the name Winnie. It's just always been near and dear to my heart. I love the name Winnie from this.
Her full name, though, is Winifred.
Which, hocus pocus. But also...
I didn't pick up on that.
Really?
That's so funny.
Just for, if you haven't read this, I really don't know what to tell you.
It takes like an hour to read.
It's such a short read.
It's such a quick read.
But it's got some really important storylines and important tales to tell at that age. It's just like it's kind of advanced reading for the reading level that it is.
Yeah.
Because the storylines are really in depth.
Yeah. And it's recommended for 9 to 12-year-olds, which hits. That makes sense, because you're kind of in that in between turning into a teenager, but you're still a child and you want to kind of you want to be an adult, but you don't want to be an adult. You know, like that age of like, you know, you think being an adult is this super cool thing, yet you also don't want to lose your childhood. This book is like a beautiful coming of age. You know, I think the book, if you've never read the book and you've only seen the movie, it's two very different plots.
Yeah,
when it comes
they mirror
to,
each other.
Yeah, so the storylines stay pretty closely together. I think the biggest difference is there's not really a love story in the book. The book is definitely more a love story of Winnie and her childhood and
what was taken from her.
Exactly.
She didn't get to experience
and like
one.
learning to love someone else other than yourself, and like true friendship and the meaning of life. Like all of that is like wrapped into the book.
Mm-hmm.
You still get that in the movie, but you also get a love story in the movie, which is just everything.
And, you know, in the book, it felt more like a platonic boy and girl friendship.
Yes.
And they just wanted to be with each other forever. And I was the type of little girl who had lots of boyfriends.
Yeah.
And because I had 5 sisters, like I didn't want to hang out with any more girls if I didn't have to.
Fair.
And loved sports and loved being, you know, rough and tumble. And so I identified with it so much. I was like, yes, a boy and a girl can be friends. It doesn't mean they like each other. And then you get the movie version and they love.
Yeah.
love.
And like we talked about this off pod, but the age difference in the book is pretty drastic compared to the movie. So in the movie, I think she's 15 turning 16, or she's 16 turning 17 in the movie. And then in the book, she's 10 years old, which is a little bit weird. And very specifically, like in the book, there's a line where Jessie says to her, like when, you know, she discovers the water and like what the water does and all this stuff, he asks her when she turns 17 if she'll drink the water
to stay with him
so that they can get married and live forever together. And so like that's a very sweet moment, but that's like the only moment where you get any kind of like, I wouldn't even say that was romance. It's more just like his dream of having someone.
Well, they kiss. And that's the first scene they shot.
In the
movie.
Oh, no. I mean the book.
Oh, yes.
Just the book.
In the movie, though, that's the first scene they shot. They had yet to meet each other.
Oh,
he was
so
like a super
sweet.
late add-on. Also, you know, like, this is the wildest thing. Guess who auditioned for this part? This is going to make you laugh.
For Jessie?
Yes.
Or for
Who almost got it?
I don't know.
Jared Padalecki from Supernatural.
Stop.
Almost got the part. But they gave it to him. And guess who else? Guess who met and auditioned for this movie? This is how they met and became friends. Glenn Howerton, Rob McElhenney, and Charlie Day of Always Sunny in Philadelphia first met when auditioning for this film.
That's crazy.
And then they became good friends. And that's how they became friends.
Were they auditioning for the same character, or were they auditioning for like the older brother and so
It's
on?
not here. We'll have to ask them next time we hang out with them.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that was their first scene that they shot together. And also it's hilarious because, like you said in the movie, he's playing 17, she's playing like 15. In real life, he was 20 and she was 19.
Okay. Is this during Gilmore Girls, or this is before Gilmore Girls?
It's 2002 is when it came out. So I imagine they were probably...
Like they were already in work?
Yeah, let me see. Gilmore Girls had to have been like 2003, 2005-ish.
Sure. That sounds right. It's been around forever.
This is her theatrical debut.
Yeah.
So,
and she fits Winnie Foster so perfectly. Like when you read the book.
Oh, 2000 was Gilmore Girls.
Oh, wow. So she was already
on Gilmore Girls. So this must have been her first movie.
So much younger in the movie.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay. I loved her in this role, and I loved the guy who plays Jesse. Like I can't envision anyone else. And I think one of the biggest differences from book to movie as far as characters go is the mom, May. She is a plump woman in the book and
not in this.
And not in the movie at all. But
no.
To be fair, the actress that plays May in the movie is so like
She's so sweet.
As much as like when you read the book, obviously you envision like what the characters look like. I see her as that woman. Like I don't see her as this plump woman. I see her as this character. And she plays it so beautifully. Like she just embodies that character.
And there's like not to get too deep on this, because there is something there with the older brother, right? Like, you hate him so much in the movie.
Yeah.
You just hate him.
Yeah.
In the book, you have a little bit more empathy because you get a little bit more of like, he's lost everything because of a decision his family didn't even realize they were making to start.
Yeah.
Like, when this started for the Tucks, it's not like they were seeking out.
They didn't know. No, they had no idea.
All of a sudden, they're not aging.
Yeah. and their cat dies.
I know.
And that's like
so
one of the
sad.
first. Yeah,
so
that's
sad.
like one of the first things where they're like, wait, the cat didn't drink the water. The
It's the
horse
only
lives
one.
and all of them live. And they're like, wait a minute. Something is fishy. Like, what's going on? And it's really devastating because like, what's his name? I always forget his name. That's terrible because he's kind of one of those characters.
Oh, the brother?
Yeah, what's
Forget
his name? Anyway, the
Sucks.
brother. He, in the book, like in the movie too, you get their, like the whole kind of story of like what happens to his wife and stuff. But in the book, it's so much more devastating. Like they really drive home. Like his wife literally just is like, yeah, I don't want anything. You're crazy. Like you signed your soul to the devil and like,
but he could stop.
Yeah.
Right? At any point. I don't remember. If they stopped drinking the water now.
They don't know.
They don't know, right?
That's the thing is they don't know. And like they don't in the I don't know about the movie, but in the book, they go back and drink it once every so many, like 10 years or 20
like
years.
That. Yeah.
But it's not I don't think it has anything to do with like continuing to live. I think it's just like they've made that like a tradition, like coming back to the same place.
And Miles it's Miles is the brother's name.
Yes.
In that opening scene where like Jonathan Jackson as Jesse comes on his motorcycle and like comes into town, and it's supposed to be like 85 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you go back in time to when the mom gets to see them because they see each other every 10 years and they come to drink from the water.
So
and
good.
He's like kind of being held, he's holding back.
Yeah.
And like Jesse runs up to his mom and you can tell they're like the best of friends.
Yeah.
And you can tell Miles is like the more cynical, more practical son.
Yep.
And that's when you kind of are introduced to the idea of this man in the yellow suit that they portray in the movie, which is a little bit different than the book. But
yeah.
Did you have to break this down in school? Because I remember them being like, what do you think the man in the yellow suit represents? And I vividly remember this.
Yeah.
It was like your first big lesson in symbolism. And he was death, he is death. He is death coming for the family. And while he is a person, he's a death actually coming to town. And
right.
In the book, he's less a character, if you will. Like in the movie, he's so kind of over the top and like creepy, where in the book he's more, it's just they scary.
Yeah, they hold on to the yellow suit. Like that's a big thing. And they keep that for the movie and for in the book. I think in the book, to me, he was creepier because of like how he's the actor who plays him.
He's a creep.
He's so creepy just on his own. But the actual like character,
Sir Ben Kingsley is
he's perfect. He's exactly who I envisioned for this character when reading. But in the book, he's just like an evil guy, and he just like is obsessed with the fact that like his grandmother or someone told him a story of the brother who got married and this whole thing where like she went into a crazy hospital but the husband kept, he didn't age, whatever. And he's obsessed with this and obsessed with like finding out why they were able. And he thinks that it's just a made up story that his grandmother told him, but he feels like it's true. And so he like looks for these people. Obviously he eventually finds them, but he also like finds them in such a different way. Like some of the things in the show to the book are very different in those like little moments because in the book, he's a much smaller part of it, but yet when he does come on to the pages, he's so creepy. And in the book, you're introduced to him kind of the same way you're introduced to him in the show, is where he like walks up when Winnie's outside. That whole scene, that's very similar. Like very similar,
100%.
like a side by side where it's like, yeah, this is basically the same thing. And there's also the foreshadowing of that toad that's in.
Yes, yeah.
And I love that they kept that in the movie too. Like the toad is also in the movie. The only thing that they didn't keep is kind of it's throughout the book, this toad comes back a couple times, and it's always really funny because Winnie is always talking to the toad. But what I found really interesting was at the end of the book, in the movie starts out where Jesse comes back on a motorcycle, and in the book, it's May and Tuck who come back to the town. And it's like 10 years later, 20 years later. And they eventually discover that Winnie has, since passed or whatever. But what was really interesting about that is there's a scene in the book where Winnie is, I think she's outside or she's in town, and that toad comes into play. The toad gets run over by a carriage, and she runs inside because Jesse gave her a vial of the water and asked her to drink it when she turned 17 and to meet him at the tree. She runs inside and gets the vial of water and gives it to the toad so that the toad can live forever. And then at the end of the book, when May and Tuck come back, they end up seeing this toad. And I think that like either they almost run over the toad, something happens with the toad, and Tuck is kind of like, wow, that toad looks, like he's been around here forever or whatever, without knowing that
it
Winnie
has.
gave him the water. But I was like, that's such a, like, she gives up her, like, potential life with Jesse forever to live a full life.
To save the only other friend she's had.
Yeah.
The only
this,
other
like,
friend.
Toad. I don't know. I just really liked that. I was like, that's such a fun little side story within the book. Like, it's such a small part of it, but I think the fact that they followed through with that, and then at the very end, like, that's like the last thing that you really read is about this toad.
Yeah, because her life has been, she's behind that fence. It's almost like she's been in prison. They're like prison bars to her.
Yes.
She's just stuck there and she can't escape.
Yeah.
And like a lot, like, Tuck's family probably looks at them like, oh, they have money and they have privilege. Her life must be incredible.
Yes.
But for her, especially, you get that fun little scene in the movie where she's playing baseball with the kids in the street.
Yeah.
And the mom like loses her mind.
Yeah,
like,
she's
how could
getting
a girl do
dirty.
this? Yeah, how could she do this? And it's just kind of like the excitement of being a kid and like wanting to just be a kid, and how she never had that opportunity.
She doesn't. And she's like basically throughout the entire story in the movie and the book, she's preparing herself to go away to like finishing school where she will become a lady. And I really liked in the book where they explain like the town that they live in and then the homes that Winnie's family owns and where they live. They talk about it quite often, but it's called the Touch Me Not Cottage. And it's such a like, clearly like that there's a bigger meaning to that because Winnie lives in this cottage and she's kind of brought up in this world of like touch me not culture where she's just this perfectly pristine little girl who's going to
be
go
adorable on a shelf.
Exactly.
Her little dress, playing her pianoforte.
Exactly. And I think like she doesn't know who she is, right? Because who does at 10 years old? And the whole thing that she's kind of like in her head thinking about is wanting to have adventure and live life and like all this stuff. And then, of course, that's when she eventually bumps into, Jesse, just drinking by the well. And she's just like, she sees him drink from the water or from the tree where the water is, flowing. And I guess in the movie and the book, they're both kind of like similar in the sense that she's like, well, I want some water. And he's like, no, you can't
have this.
And she's like, excuse me, this is foster land. Like, I can have whatever I
own
want.
this land. And she's like, you do?
Yeah. And that whole scene is very similar too. And then I think the other big difference is in the movie, Jesse and brother, because I can't, Miles take her back. Well, Miles scoops her up and takes her back. But May is the one that actually.
She's just like, let's be excited. We have a guest. And just so motherly and sweet.
So sweet. And like that whole like simple life where like nothing. In the movie, I think you get a little bit more of that visually, obviously, because it's a movie, but you really see like how they live their life to the fullest and like the smallest little things. Like she's like, you know, they're separating the peas from the pea pod and like just like things that, you know, you don't think about on a daily basis or like you kind of hurry through. They take their time and like do it the right way. And
she's got her music box that it's like her one nice thing.
Yeah.
And she uses it to soothe Winnie when Winnie's so sad about being kidnapped. And it's just, she's such a mom.
She's so sweet.
And
they're all so sweet.
Well, except for Grumpy Brother.
Yeah. But he's had a hard life.
Like compare the Tucks to the Cullens. Okay. So the Cullens had been around for quite a bit of years.
Yeah.
And they're bajillionaires. They've used their time. The Tucks?
Yes.
Why are they still poor?
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
Is it because they don't want to draw attention? They seem very much like the fact that they live in the woods.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like...
Especially Miles. He's like hyper vigilant about it, right?
They're not vampires, so they really can't.
I mean...
protect themselves.
I just feel like you should have more money if you're going to exist.
Yeah, they don't.
For 100 years.
Yeah, they don't take any of life's like.
You're living forever.
Right. They could definitely have done a little bit.
Invented the steam engine or something. I don't know what you're just pretend you invented something.
Nope.
It kind of makes me love them more, but also at the same time, I'm like, you guys don't have to poop in a bucket. Also, like, you could have gotten a toilet by now.
Can we talk about the scene where they're at the waterfall?
Oh. Sure. Sure we can. And tiny little 11-year-olds us.
Not creepy.
Oh,
right?
boy.
We were 11 and she was 16 in the movie, not 10.
Okay, but when we were reading it, she was straight up 10 and he was supposed to be 17.
But we still wanted them to be together.
100%. Because
I didn't understand.
When we were 10, we thought 17-year-old boys were hot as hell.
Yeah.
So obviously.
That would make sense. And also, he's
10 and 100 is a big age gap, though.
He's just so sweet.
He's such a boy. Like, he's never lost that boyish
when he says,
sweetness.
What does he say? Winnie, can I keep you?
Which is what Casper says in the Casper movie.
Yes.
Devon Sawa says that to...
Wait, what does he say? Maybe he
Christina
doesn't
Ricci.
say that. He says something like that. And it's like just a sweet moment that's not in the book. That's not in the book. It's definitely just in the movie. But it's just... it's so sweet. And then also the scene where Winnie and Jesse are by the campfire and she's like dancing to the like
she's
his
so
music.
Free and like happy, like got so emotional.
I know.
Poor little girl, she's feeling so free and like
she's living. And
for the first time.
And in the book, I guess you kind of visually see it in the movie, but in the book, you really see this like transition of her learning to love herself, but then also just the love that she has for the Tucks. It's like the
she
sweetest.
Really loves them.
It's just so sweet. Like there's so many, like she's got a lot of internal thoughts and she'll just constantly like say like, oh, I think I love them. I think I want to keep them. You know, like she has just these internal thoughts. And in the movie, I think you see that like on screen, you can see that she's just like, she feels very comfortable. Mm-hmm. These people kidnapped her.
But I think she's also seeing a mother and father that she wish she had.
Yeah.
Which you can tell she loves her parents. Her parents aren't bad people.
No.
They just
have a different culture.
A completely different culture.
Yeah.
And she loves her parents, but she's like, these are the parents I wish I had.
Yeah.
Like, I love my parents, but this is the childhood I wish I had.
Well, and they let her be a kid. She's allowed to get dirty. She's allowed to, like, eat with her hands. Like, she's allowed to run through the fields without shoes on.
And not worry about getting her dress sullied.
Yeah.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
And okay, so vivid memory of, because you didn't watch the other one, the other movie.
I didn't.
Okay, so we watched that one in school.
I don't remember
Nothing
it.
to write home about.
I don't remember it.
Nothing to write home about. This movie came out in 2002, so I was well into my teenage years. So I remember watching it and being like, oh my God, this is so good. It's like your childhood fantasies come to life.
Melting.
But I think this could be redone.
Fair.
We talk about this all the time about how, like, don't touch it. It's perfect. This could be redone.
Could it be redone and be smutty?
Of course it could. There is a fan fiction out there. There's a fan fiction out there who...
Stop.
I 100% think we could. Let's see. I'm gonna try and find it. Okay.
Oh, wait. Okay. So
Go ahead.
I looked up one of the lines because I was like, there is a line in there that I just loved and I couldn't remember what it was. I'm going to read it. So this is from, I think this is from the movie. I don't know that this is in the book. It might be, but maybe like slightly different. It says, don't be afraid of death. Be afraid of the unlived life. You don't have to live forever. You just have to live. That's so beautiful. Like, that's such a, like, it also like makes me think of like Harry Potter, where like the death is just even what is the I'm
an old friend, who comes to greet you.
Like I think that's the thing is like people are so afraid of dying, but I think you should be living because death is just the next adventure kind of thing.
One of the on AO3, which if anyone is not familiar with this, it's Archive of Our Own. It's like a fan fiction website where like all the fan fictions live. And okay, so we've got a couple here, guys. Okay. We've got one where her cousin dies and she gives it to her cousin. Lame. We have a Tuck Everlasting and Avengers crossover. Interesting.
Okay.
One.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Winnie drank the water once she turned 17. She ran away with Jesse to New York. Things happen. Dirty things happen. And another person drank the water as a result of those things. They get mixed up in a strike.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Miles Tuck didn't kill his brother. That was impossible. His brother couldn't die. Oh, that sounds angry.
Yeah. Why would Miles kill his brother? Wait.
Oh, this must be that part of the fan fiction, I suppose.
Oh.
Oh, this one's dirty. It says, the description is, oh no, Jesse, I swallowed some. With these words, the Tucks knew there was nothing to be done. They had to run away and take Winnie with them. What'd you swallow, girl?
Also, I think about the scene where they're like saving them from the jail when they're like escaping from the jail and Winnie has like the opportunity to run away with them.
Yeah.
Like, what if she went with them?
Here's the thing. Let's rewrite the story now.
Okay.
So Winnie drinks the drink when she turns 17.
Yeah.
She goes back to the tree.
Yep. She waits for Jesse.
She waits. He never comes back. Why? Why doesn't he come back? This is your turn. Or does he come back? But that just feels too easy.
It does feel too easy.
Or
he thinks that she didn't wait for. Maybe he thinks that she didn't wait for him.
So
she doesn't drink it, right? So in his head, she doesn't drink it.
Yeah.
So he finds someone else. He falls for someone else. And he has her come back with him to drink. He doesn't tell her about it, right? He brings her back and then Winnie's there. But he's now fallen for this other girl.
Yes.
But yet, obviously, Winnie is his first love. And she took and drank the vial that he gave her.
Okay. And I was going to do devil's advocate here where he decides he wants to grow old with Winnie.
Yeah.
And so he stops drinking the water. And he goes back on her 17th birthday and he is older, but not much older.
Yeah.
And maybe she drank it.
Yeah.
She wants to be with him.
She wants to.
And now they're in two different timelines. Very Age of Adeline. Remember that movie?
Yeah. I guess they didn't touch on like how it worked because they don't come back to the well for like 20 something years.
Yeah, because
like
it says they came back every 10 years.
Yeah. But before they knew that it was the water, they hadn't been back for, because
So
like
maybe they
Miles
aged a couple
already,
years?
Miles had already had his
a
family,
wife
the
and
wife
kids,
left,
yeah.
the kids were grown up.
Huh.
Like all of that stuff had already happened when they come back. So like they don't really touch on
We're going to
that.
have to revisit this.
So I think, like that's
What
obviously.
if this is a Harry Potter crossover and this is actually the Philosopher's Stone? Like, you know how Voldemort wants a Philosopher's Stone so that he can live forever?
Yeah.
And he's got like the potion. So maybe this is
like
the birth
part
of
of
that.
it?
The Philosopher's Stone is in the bottom of the well.
I don't know if I could candle Tuck in the Harry Potter world. I mean,
He'd be like-
Jesse.
Jesse would be like Cedric Diggory, super hot and everybody loved him. But Cedric Diggory dies.
Yeah, he does.
And Winnie's giving,
And then they turn him into a vampire. And
she's giving like Luna Hermione crossover.
Yeah, fair. Well, she's got that young. She's very young. She's very impressionable. She doesn't know what life is about.
Do you think this could be made today, though? I totally think it could.
I think it could, especially since it hasn't 2002.
It should be a show, though.
That's like 100 years ago.
It should be a show, and they expand 100 years
Yes.
ago. They should expand it, though, and I think it should be like a mini series.
Like do it as a TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Netflix could do this.
Can we do it without the brother? Can the brother just be not in it?
I think he has to be
He's
in it,
such
but we have to do.
a putter downer.
He's a real Debbie Downer. Womp womp. But we could do something with him, spruce him up a bit.
I mean, he did fall in love, and then his wife was like, "You from the devil."
So maybe we can get some more of their story, so we get a little empathy for him.
But you get his story in the book.
Yeah, maybe he can have like half an episode.
Yeah.
Maybe one of his kids can find out the family secret and come back and
They
find him.
die.
Yeah, this is one of them's not going to die.
Okay.
Totally forgot that
In
they died.
our universe.
Totally forgot they died. Son of a bee sting.
That's what makes it so sad. Is like not only is his wife in a mental hospital, but both of his children die of like the whatever
Plague.
consumption
Something.
or
Yes. Dysentery. They're on the Oregon Trail. You have died of dysentery. Okay, so
yeesh.
ooh, maybe we just kill the whole family
Yeah,
off in the
that's-
beginning.
I mean, that's fair. But yeah, so I think they
it could be done. Though.
Absolutely. I think it could be done. It definitely would need a new spin. Like I think you would need to change some things up a little bit. You know, the villain, so to speak, in this isn't really like maybe you change up the creepy yellow suit
The man
guy.
in the yellow suit.
Although that's like a pretty epic.
Yeah.
But I don't know who could be him. I mean, that guy, Killian, what's his name?
Don't you talk about Cillian Murphy like that?
But he could play that
No,
guy.
he's too hot. He could not play that guy.
But what if it was what if he was into Winnie? What if you like twist it and
no,
like
he's so hot.
he
can
could,
only
like,
be perfect.
be
He can only be Tommy Shelby. That's all he can ever be.
he can be like he could pull off the yellow suit.
No, you know who could be the man in the yellow suit guy?
No.
Those brothers that one of them played the It Clown, the Skarsgård brothers. Any one of them
Oh, geez.
are creeps. Very handsome men.
They're
very
They're
handsome men.
vampires. Like he can't play that guy.
He's a clown.
He can't play. Not well. Him, yes, he could, but
could
not
play
the
it.
other one. The other guy is the one from from Vampire Land. What's his name?
Yeah. And also,
What's
he was
his
in
name?
Succession. Alexander Skarsgård? There's
Yeah,
lots of
I
Skarsgård.
forget his name.
They're
but
all
he's
really hot, but
beautiful.
yeah.
He's
maybe
also
that's not
really, really tall.
Yep.
He's just so tall.
We are just going to throw this in there for the fun facts for the episode. Dayelle's birthday did just pass, so happy birthday to Dayelle. We did celebrate her birthday by going to a Hozier concert. And my God,
Period.
that man,
He's a tall drink of whiskey.
he sure is. And he walked right by us, and I brushed it up on his elbow.
Yep. And she got pregnant.
And I'm going to have his little woodland forest babies.
Yes.
Speaking of tall, small tangent, back to reality. Well, his songs could absolutely be on the soundtrack.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
100%. Yeah. I think that's something, like in the movie, the soundtrack in the movie is so beautiful.
It is so wonderful.
Like the visual in the movie also is very, very pretty. They did a great job of like really.
It's very ethereal.
Yeah.
Even though it's 2002, it feels like it was shot in like the 70s or 80s, the way that they just kind of soften the edges
There's like
of everything.
There's a filter to it. Yeah.
It reminds me so much of Anne of Green Gables. The vibe that Anne of Green Gables had with
original,
the OJ.
not the remake.
No, not the remake.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I can see that.
Okay, that's that. I'm going to say this though. I don't know if this is still being taught in schools, but I hope it is, because it is such a, at that point in my life at 10 or 11 years old, it was so uncomfortable to be a girl.
Yeah.
We are just starting puberty. I was 5 foot.
So many changes.
I was 5'8" in the 5th grade. I was huge.
You're so tall.
So tall.
I was
And
not.
every boy that I had a crush on was 1'1".
Yes.
I was huge. They used to call me a sun blocker. Me and my best friend, they used to call us sun blockers because we would block the sun.
So
they would
so
sit on
tall.
benches and be like, bring the sun blockers over. I'm not even kidding. We would dance.
Boys are so mean.
We would dance with each other at school dances because
there's
no one's going to ask us.
Yeah.
But at that time in your life, your childhood is starting to go. You're like rushing it.
Mm-hmm.
You so badly want to be an older kid, an adult. And it is so important that you keep, I mean, especially now, I'm not a parent and I know that you are, and this is right around the age your son is.
Yeah.
But it's got to be so hard to keep them young and keep them a kid. And like Winnie is a perfect example of like when you don't let a kid be a kid, they will. This is her version of lashing out, of course. But like she would rather be kidnapped than go back to the prison that is her home. Right.
And she talks about in the book, I think she does it in the movie too, but in the book, she talks about running away. Like she's like, today's the day. I'm going to run away. And then she's like, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't run away.
Did you ever try to run away?
I ran away many times.
When you were little though?
Oh, no. Yes.
Yeah.
When I was little, but then also as I got older, I ran away from home many times. I ran up the hill.
Yes.
Into the woods. And then I was like, it's getting dark. I'm going to go back home. And I told my mom I ran away. And she was like, okay, as long as you can see the house, that's fine.
Just because that was my mom. I packed a book bag once with my sister and I was like, we're running away. And she's like, why? And I was like, because we are. And in the book bag, it was both of our like emotional support Beanie Babies.
Yes.
Hers was a cat. Mine was a monkey named Bongo. Like 5 Twinkies. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
And a pair of socks.
Yeah. It's perfect.
And I was like, we're fine.
We're going to be fine.
We've got this. And like
it's good.
A notebook, because also thought I was Harriet the Spy at this time.
Yeah.
Was pretty sure I was Harriet the Spy.
I always ran away without anything.
Oh.
Because also I believed I was like kind of a witch and I could just like make a potion.
Me too. Did believe that as well.
Out of like Twix and sticks and muddy water.
It's probably because we read this book and we're like, we just have to find the eternal spring and we're going to be fine.
Well, and what's crazy is I grew up bordered, like the property that we grew up on was bordered the state land. And so it was all like park basically. And there were like streams and brooks and like all this really cool stuff. And so you find these springs and you're like, oh, this is clearly the water of.
Yeah.
I mean, people like travel far and wide to drink this water, which I find hilarious because so many animals pee and
all the
poo
time.
in it.
Every time I'm driving home. And I always see, because
On
I
the side
live
of
where
the
you grew up.
road.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're filling up their jugs. But I grew up with 10 acres of our own woods behind my house that had a massive brook and stream, huge waterfall. It's still the best. It's still to this day like my favorite place on earth. But pretty sure that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. But also, did you think you would meet like a man
Obviously,
in the woods?
An absolute smoke show of a Jessie.
I would find Jess.
Of course I did.
I mean, I also thought I'd find Peter Pan.
But also, why did I have my little sister? What a drag. I couldn't do anything without her, though.
That's your job. I mean, I would drag my older brother.
Oh.
When I would run away.
He's actually a good one because I know your older brother very well.
He's a survivalist.
I would want him on my side.
He's
but also,
a Boy Scout, you know?
That would take away from the experience.
Yeah.
Because we're like actually lighting the fires. No, we need magic.
Well, we also had like this one rule my mom would always say to us when we would go off into the woods, because like there was a lot of woods. We also had hunters, and so you had to always watch for the hunters, because like, whoops, that would be bad. We could go as far as we could go as long as we could see the house. We were fine.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But here's the problem with that is you could get real far and still see the top of the roof slightly through the trees and just keep going.
And you guys have a lot of water around you.
Yeah. And we would be like, oh, I think I can still kind of make out maybe that's a tree, but no, that's definitely the house. And we just keep going. And to the point of like, we would end up in like hunters' campsites.
That's so dangerous.
You know, it was so fun though.
I was just going to say that as you're saying this story, and I'm saying mine, books like this, books like Tuck Everlasting, Wrinkle in Time, which you haven't read yet. I can't wait for you to read, because we will do that one.
Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh my God, Bridge to Terabithia, one of my top 10. So sad. Let's just cry forever. But
touche.
We grew up on these like fantastical books that told us that like the fantasy is in your backyard.
Yes.
Just go into the woods.
Yeah. You make your own adventures.
That's where the magic is.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we did, but also wee bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Because we were just...
Fair.
It's
a different time.
We had four-wheelers though.
Yeah,
which makes it even worse.
We didn't.
Because we'd be like, we'll just take this bad boy up the mountain. We're 8.
We had bicycles.
We had those too.
We would just use those in the woods. Also, just really quick, this is super random, a little tidbit from when I was a child. We had...
Oh, because we've been so on topic. So
yeah,
continue.
we went off... We were so far out of what we were talking about. But there was, in our backyard, there was this giant, like boulder rock. And my cousin... I have a lot of older cousins. Obviously. One of those yes. You're going to marry. They had convinced me that behind this giant boulder rock, there was a smaller boulder rock, and there was like a hole, and it was like a cave. Like you could go into this. Mind you, you shouldn't go into it because like who knows what was inside this like hole in the ground. But I had been convinced that a troll lived down in this hole. And it was like the funniest thing to get, the younger girl cousin to go and try to climb into the hole. And so most of my childhood, I would go to this hole and like, today's the day. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go into this hole. I'm going to find the troll. I don't know what I was going to do when I found the troll, but that was my plan, was I was going to go into this hole and find this troll. I never did it.
You never found
the troll.
But
that hole is still there.
Well, I think we have to go.
The troll is definitely...
I know that your family doesn't own that property anymore.
It was also the pee rock. Like all the boy cousins would go behind that rock and pee. So I think they just told me that so that I wouldn't go over there.
I can't wait to ask them about the pee rock. I'm staring at one of your cousins right now.
He was too young.
Did you ever pee on the pee rock?
It was the older ones. Right. He was like he was little.
To bring it back to our girl Winnie, I remember a girl. Were you allowed to dress up for Halloween in school? I don't think they are anymore.
Yes. It depends on the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a girl I like vividly remember this in 5th grade. So it had to be 5th grade reading. Maybe it was 6th grade.
Yeah.
She dressed up like Winnie.
Stop.
And only like 3 of us got it. And we were all like, this is the best costume ever.
Incredible.
Her mom just went to a thrift store and just got like a white, like long sleeve white dress. Mm-hmm. And she had, because in the book, doesn't she have a green ribbon? Or there's like something in the book where she has
a ribbon.
Ribbon, yeah.
Yeah.
And she has these like brown high lace up boots.
Yep.
She was a horse girl, if you know what that means. Like she like had the equestrian boots.
Yep.
And that's like a bomb adult Halloween costume for us millennials.
That's really good. It's like when you see little kids dressed up like Mary Poppins.
I love it.
It
so
nailed
much.
it every time. Little baby dressed up like Mary Poppins. Stop it.
I can't handle
Stop
that.
it. I love it. That's a nice place to
all right.
sign off.
We have gotten weird with this. Okay, so Tuck Everlasting is definitely one of those formidable adolescent books for me.
Yeah, but it was such a nice little, like a little breath of fresh air. Like it's definitely like, it is what it is. But I think it's such a good book.
I love it still.
And it's so sweet. And it takes you an hour to read it. I'd say read it.
I think the movie's like an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes.
The movie is beautiful.
The movie's so good.
So good.
It's so good. It's like, you know how sometimes we've watched the movie for the books and been like, oh my God, this does not hold up. This holds up.
It does.
I honestly think I appreciate it more now when I rewatch, because I watched it twice before we recorded because I was like,
sweet and
it's
innocent.
such a comforting movie.
It is. Yeah, I watch it like probably once a year, like around summertime. For some reason, it's just like
it feels very
like
summery,
summer.
and we didn't even talk about it, but I used to love that part when I would fantasize that Jesse Tuck was going to come take me away before I saw the movie and like had the book version of it. Mm-hmm. It once got worse when I got to watch and see how hot he was. But when he says, "Have you ever been to Paris? Do you want to see the Eiffel Tower?" Yeah, and he takes her to the rocks.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And he's so excited. He's like, come on, Winnie, come on. It's there. It's everything. So on this one, it's a watch it and read it.
It's a watch it and read it.
And it doesn't matter which, like, watch it or read it or watch it. They're excellent, both variations.
If you have a kid, too, especially, I would say, a young female adolescent, even male, because I think we all read it, but like it's a really beautiful story about holding on to your childhood just a little bit longer. Like you have so long to live life and so long to be an adult. Yeah. And it's so crazy because everyone tells you don't rush your childhood. It doesn't get better than this. But like this is not you saying it as a parent. So it's a little bit easier to digest.
Exactly. I agree with that.
I love this one.
100%.
It holds up. It's like a warm hug.
It is. It is a warm hug.
Man, I don't feel bad for saying it because he's our age.
Yeah.
Damn, he was hot.
Yeah, he was.
Jesse Tuck was so hot.
He's beautiful.
Almost as hot as your Peter Pan. I think he was hotter than your Peter Pan.
It was just different. You can't compare apples and oranges. Jeremy Sumter.
Okay. For everyone that thinks Dale and I are creeps, we're just tapping into 11, 12-year-old
like young version of us loving these.
And he was 20 when he made the movie, so we're not.
I mean, come on. When Harry Potter came out, Harry Potter was so I was gonna marry him.
Really?
And now
when
I watch it now, I'm like, what is wrong with me?
No. For me,
what was I thinking?
Oliver Wood, are you kidding me?
I mean, yes.
That accent.
Yes.
Ooh, Oliver Wood.
I liked the guy in the glasses. He's kind of nerdy.
Well,
it works for me.
I liked the athlete. This is all adding up, actually, and who we've chosen in life.
Making sense.
All right. So on that note, drink some everlasting spring water.
Yeah, do it.
It'll get you drunk and make you wish that you were living forever or think you can live forever.
Yeah.
But head on over to the TikToks because we have been attempting to put things on there.
Yes, we're trying to get better at that.
Just laugh at us. That's what we're doing.
And our summer intern, Lizbeth, has been helping us with
She has been making us
She's
cooler.
making us brave.
She's making us cooler because we're old. And follow us on Instagram. And I mean, if you're our moms listening, you can follow us on Facebook. Yeah. There too. Anyone's moms or aunts out there listening. But head on over and follow us. Shoot us messages. Tag us in those cocktails. Yeah. And if you can, wherever you're listening to us, if you can give us a follow, subscribe, and leave us a little rating, that helps us out a lot.
Yeah.
So we can keep pumping out content.
Join the party.
And we are going to be launching a Patreon soon. So watch out in the socials for that because that'll be super fun. We're going to be doing a lot of ridiculous things behind the scenes for you.
And merch. We're going to have merch, guys. And it's going to be epic.
Merch shop coming soon.
All of the best girl stuff and boy stuff.
And boy stuff. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And if you haven't already been following along, this week for Pride Month, we did a favorite. We did Red, White, and Royal Blue. So if you haven't read that, I loved it. It was such a fun,
it was a really quick read.
It was such a good read. I loved it. And then also now you have the movie to watch.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's our Pride Month pick for this week.
Yeah.
Obviously,
More
you're
to come.
You're going to be listening to this probably way later in the month, but if you see that on our socials, that just know that was our pick.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Our editor is Katie Yonner. Our associate producer is Grace Heerman. Our production coordinator is Nicole Vargas, and our senior content producer is Kyle Bosch. Our executive producer is Tommy West, and Watch It or Read It is produced by Gotham West Studios.